So hello there. I just want to make a quick video. I won't keep for long. And I guess, as the title suggests, it's on the topic of like UFOs, orb UFOs, and the idea of the Nephilim, Operation Majestic, and even this playlist here, what are the Nephilim? They're not all just giants. But yeah, basically based on conceptualizing footage like this video. It's a compilation of all the different types of all the different times civilians have recorded these orbs, which in some cases seem to shapeshift into bigger vehicles like what people call flying saucers, and then shapeshift back into these orbs. And in this case, I was watching a podcast by a guy in this whole critical drinker nerdrotic circle, and I'll just play a clip from his podcast because it showed the video of these orbs surrounding this plane, whatever.
All right, let's share this. Let's share this. So here we go. This is flight MH370. So here's some footage that they got. So here's the plane making a hard left. It's making a hard left, right? So it's going low because apparently there has been a oh, what's that coming in? What's this coming in? What is this coming in now? This is crazy. Hey, here we go. Oh, now look. Now it's been joined by two more. There's one more. There's another. And they reckon that it's mapping. They reckon that the reason why they're spinning around is they're actually mapping the whole of the plane. So whether or not it's just mapping or getting the weight, all of that kind of stuff. So they start to map. Then they start going into a uniform turn. Now they're spinning in unison. Now they're spinning in unison. There's two different angles from this, from two different aspects. This isn't just one footage. And then ready. So that's the second footage, and it marries up exactly with the first footage. One of them's coming from a drone, from a military drone. And then hold on. Can we get to here we go. So I think this is all together now. So it comes in, one comes in, then two comes in, then the third comes in. And then they're spinning around the plane. And then wait for it. The drone's recalibrated. It's been manually calibrated. Here we go. Spinning. Boom. Bye. And it's gone.
And I thought this had just happened. I'd forgotten that this had actually happened quite a while ago. And so, yeah, this whole mystery surrounding the MH370 plane. And yeah, the other citation is this video here, which I'll link in the description section below, where Az is playing this clip from. But again, I suggest everybody check this video out. It's only 20 minutes long. And then this one I never watched. I would just assume it's pushing the Operation Majestic. The whole idea of aliens, the ancient astronauts, Anunnaki, Palladian, whatnot. Everything Bill Cooper warned about. And I'll also put this citation in the description section below, his final interview. A short clip from it I'll play, where he describes seeing a UFO and reporting some of the aerial maneuvers it could make.
I went into the Air Force. I was in the Strategic Air Command for 4 years as an aircraft and missile hydraulic technician, which is, I worked on the pneumatic and hydraulic systems of B-52 bombers, KC-135 aircraft, and Minuteman missiles. I had a secret security clearance. That's where I saw my first atomic bomb. I mean, we worked around on these planes, especially the ones on the alert pad, were always loaded, ready to go drop these bombs at a moment's notice. But while I was in the Air Force, I met sergeants, men who were older than me, and had been in the Air Force for quite a while, told me that they had participated in projects that had recovered crashed extraterrestrial craft, what you call UFOs. And they never told these stories unless they'd had quite a bit to drink. So I never really believed it. I thought, well, these guys are running a scam on me, you know, even though I'd heard about these things when I was a kid. I just still didn't believe in it. It's just so far out in left field, it's not something that you really give any serious thought to until something personal happens, which came later. While I left the Air Force, I went into the Navy, which is really where I wanted to be in the first place. I'd always had this tremendous feeling and connection with the ocean. I was an excellent swimmer, but I had a problem as a child. I had chronic motion sickness. If I got in a car and we went on a long trip, I got deathly ill. And same with boats or anything. I couldn't ride on the things at the carnival that went around and round because it just made me tremendously ill. But I decided after I had gone through the Air Force experience that sick or not, you know, I was going to go in the Navy because that's really what I had wanted to do. So I did. Volunteered for submarine duty and was assigned to the USS Tyru, SS-416, which was a diesel-electric boat, World War II type, that had been reconfigured. When I went on board the boat, it was in the dry dock at Pearl Harbor Naval Shipyard and had literally been cut in half. They put in a 12-foot sonar section and then 3 domes on the deck for triangulating targets using sonar. And this was really one of the most up-to-date electronically submarines that we had. Wasn't a nuclear submarine, but as far as the ability to approach, get close to a target and destroy it, it had a better capacity to do that than any other boat that we had. While we were on a transit from the Portland-Seattle area, on the surface, I actually saw, I was the port lookout, and I saw the most incredible thing that I think I've ever seen in my life. And it had such a profound effect upon my view of the universe and the world that we live in that I wish everybody could experience this. I saw come up out of the ocean, from beneath the surface of the sea, a huge disc-shaped craft about the size of a Midway-class aircraft carrier, which is tremendous in size. Even though that's one of our smallest carriers there was then, it's still a huge, tremendously big object. Came up out of the ocean and rose into the air and tumbled on its axis and went up into the clouds, and I was awestruck, dumbstruck. And I mean dumbstruck, literally. I could not utter a sound. And my first impulse was to tell the officer of the deck that I'd seen a flying saucer, and then luckily for me I couldn't talk because on second thought that's not what I really wanted to say. Because I didn't want to be the only Looney Tunes character on a submarine with a tight-knit crew that you had to live in close quarters with, because that's a hell of a way to live. So I told the officer of the deck that I'd seen something about 15 degrees off the port bow at a relative distance of about 2.5 nautical miles. And he began to look in that area. And the starboard lookout had heard me tell him this, and he began to look over there. And while we were all three watching, either the same craft or another one exactly like it came down out of the clouds, tumbled again on its, why it did this maneuver, I don't know, but every single time it did it. It's like it came down in this attitude, and then it flipped over, and then entered the water. And the water just appeared to open up in front of it. It's just like the account in the Bible about the parting of the Red Sea. That's exactly what happened. The sea actually parted, and this thing went into the water, and then it closed up behind it. And this big spray went up into the air. But it wasn't a spray from the craft hitting the water. It was a spray from the water coming back in to fill up this hole that had been created. And again, you know, I think this is incredible. It's what are we looking at here? And it was metal. It was a machine, and it wasn't glowing or anything like that. It didn't have any lights on it that we could see. But it was obviously metal, and it was obviously a machine. And although I can't tell you that there was anyone inside of it, I believe that there was. And it did something that, as far as I knew, was absolutely impossible. I'd been in the Air Force. I'd worked on the state-of-the-art of our aviation capabilities. And here I was on the deck of a submarine in the conning tower, and I knew what we had to be able to have to go underwater, and I knew that the two were incompatible. Here's something that came from under the water and flew in the air and performed maneuvers, and then came back down and interfaced with the water at tremendous speed and remained intact. Which realistically, it never touched the water. The water sort of magically opened up in front of it, but something had to interface with that water. Anything that we had that interfaced with the water in that manner would have been disintegrated. It's like hitting a brick wall. So I was looking at a technology that, as far as our laws of physics and what we knew at that time, didn't exist. This was in 1966. Ensign Ball was as shocked as I was. He called the captain to the bridge. He came up with the chief quartermaster, who brought a camera. And we all stood there and watched this occur over and over again for about 10 minutes. And I still, to this day, don't know if it was the same craft or a whole bunch of different craft going in and out of the water. But it seemed like that there was a hell of a lot of traffic on that freeway right there. And we were watching it as we went by. We never changed course. We never lowered or increased our speed. We made no attempt to communicate or signal. We made no attempt to get closer. And eventually, it just stopped. We were told not to discuss it with anyone, not even amongst ourselves, which was incredible. I never had been told anything like that in my life. You can't talk about something. And to be told that we couldn't even talk about it amongst ourselves was even more extraordinary, I thought. But we didn't. We didn't talk about it. When we got to Pearl Harbor, all the time the chief quartermaster was taking pictures of this. So I know photographs were made. What happened to those photographs, I have no idea. But when we reached Pearl Harbor, we were not allowed to go ashore to go on liberty, even though we didn't have the duty. And about 2 hours after we berthed at the submarine base, a commander from the Office of Naval Intelligence came on board and debriefed each one of us individually in the captain's stateroom. And the ultimate outcome of the debriefing was that we didn't see anything, we didn't hear anything, and we had to read rules and regulations that told us that if we ever talked about what it was that we didn't see, that we could be imprisoned, we could be fined $10,000, we could lose all pay and allowances due or ever to become due. And I learned at that moment that the United States Navy didn't want anybody to know about what we saw, and that severe consequences could come down around the neck of anybody who did. And that was when I understood fully that, yeah, there's a real cover-up. These things do exist, number one, and at least the United States Navy doesn't want anybody to know about it. And there's stiff penalties for anybody who bucks that.
But yeah, basically, that being said, this whole topic of airplanes disappearing like that, and then maybe or maybe not, it's UFOs who did it, just furthering the fear around this topic, like that we might have to go to war with aliens or whatever. I've been saying for a long time, these missing planes is tied into it. It'll be the thing that maybe pushes disclosure over the edge, a public outcry from people that these aliens can just hit us anytime they want, we can't hit back. And so I don't know where that'll all lead, but my guess is they will end up saying that our aliens are the ones taking these planes, it's an act of war, whatever. Because as Bill Cooper himself says, this could all be misdirection. Misdirection on top of misdirection. He even says in the interview, he wonders if he was being shown certain things just so that he'd talk about them. And so yeah, I don't know what else to say about that. UFO orbs, they're strange. I've actually seen one myself over where my sister used to live here in Penticton before she ever moved here. It's the only time I ever personally saw one. It was just one of them. Just one. But whatever. It is what it is. Make up your own mind. I'm not here to make it up for you. And yeah, I mean, it is what it is when you got when you got former directors of the CIA like William Casey making comments like this. Who knows what the truth about this UFO disclosure will be. But all I know is it's not just little green men from Uranus. Even like Gonzo Shimura's films, Age of Deceit, Part 1, 2, and 3, interviewing people and showing proof that these supposed aliens are hurt by prayer and calling on Jesus' name. Well, they sure want people to not know that. Because imagine a monster, an alien threat coming at our world, and the only thing that can hurt these things, we don't even know what it is. That totally sounds like something the enemy Asatan would do, and why this ancient alien agenda fits in so well with the Antichrist beast system. And so yeah, I don't know. Check out those citations or don't. And if you have, maybe watch them again. Lord knows I've watched most of them a bunch of times. But yeah, as far as this whole ancient aliens thing, it's clearly a main proponent to this. Because the more and more this gets out, the more and more people are going to panic. And I pray for them to not panic, because I think that's what the powers that shouldn't be want. They want a mass panic. Anyway, I guess that's all I got to say about that. So I'll just say, peace out, baby.